Praise the Lord. We are here at Karmal Niwas. Karmal Niwas, this is in Delhi, inside the Navinta Retreat Center campus. OCD fathers stay here. And we are here to meet Father Laiju. We'll go inside now and we'll talk to him. We have with us Father Laiju Putunseri. He's a Carmelite priest and we're very happy to have him here with us. And he's agreed to speak to us and share his experience and what his journey so far. He's a very good singer. He plays keyboard very well. So let us know more about him from him only. Thank you, Father. So, Father, you can tell about your family, Father.
I am from Kerala, and the proper place is Kumbalangi, one of the tourism villages in Kerala.
Okay.
And at home we are 9. Don't get surprised or shocked. I do give class for the marriage preparation course, and I tell them don't stop with the 8 because if you are stopping with 8, you are losing a priest. I'm so happy to be in a very large family. There we had all the good experience of sharing, and not that we were in a very, I was in a very rich family, ordinary family. It's a mixed experience was there, and that has really helped me also in my character formation. Yes, among these 9 children, 2 of my sisters are Reverend sisters, nuns. So I had all my schoolings in Kumbalangi up to the 10th standard. I was not very excellent, but I was an ordinary student.
And Father, what inspired you? At what age did you thought of joining the?
Actually, from the immediately after the reception of the first communion, I was taken as the altar boy.
Okay.
That means I was very closely related with the altar from the 5th standard onwards.
Okay.
And then, moreover, my 5th standard class teacher was one sister Lena CTC.
Lena CTC.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were not because of the studies, but because of the high short. So we were not. I was not in the back bencher, but I was in the first bench. And in the first bench we were 5, and one was Hindu, but other 4 were Christians.
Okay.
And then this sister used to say, these 4 are going to become priests.
Wow.
And when all other boys go for the interval, she used to bring chocolates. This sister used to bring chocolates. And during the interval time, she used to give these chocolates and you should become priest. I feel like that has really helped us a lot. And among these 4, whom she said that we all will become priests, 3 are priests actually. Wow. And much more than that, all the 3 are belonging to the same congregation, Carmelite order.
She also was a Carmelite?
She's also a Carmelite.
Oh, she also a Carmelite.
Yeah.
Okay. Any hobbies while you were growing up? Your favorite sports or anything?
No, not for good at sports, but in the art field, like singing. From my age onwards, I got a lot of chance to participate in a lot of competitions, singing competition, eloquency competition, like that. No, so that's how I feel like I got that interest. My hobby also got developed through these advantages. Also. Yeah. And also when I think about my childhood, with regard to the prayer itself, I was very strict with the Angelus prayer as well as the Rosary prayer. Evening 7 o'clock when the Angelus bell is rung in the church, immediately my father will call all the children, come and do the prayer. And when they also, after the prayer, you have to sing at least 2-3 songs. If you are stopping with one song, you'll get angry or get somebody's bill. And for the Rosary, 8 o'clock, then we have strict Rosary. So my father, when suppose he is back a little late after the prayer, after the walk, the first thing that he asks is, did you pray today? And if mother says no, we don't pray, then we might have gone for sleeping. Then come call them everyone, and then he will ask us to make us to pray first and then sleep.
That is why there are 3 vocations from the same.
Yeah. That's really, I feel like 5th standard onwards that I had the desire to become a priest, but all my associations, all my relationship was with the diocesan priests. Because since I was also an altar boy, parish priest used to take us for the film. He also used to take us to the seminary to play football, cricket and all. Like that, that was the real outing. So my outing, like in my childhood, was with the parish priest only. We have never gone for any outing or trip like that, but whatever the outing that I had in my childhood was with the parish priest only. So all much that kind of of relationship was there with the parish priest, and even my parents also thought that I would become a parish priest.
Acha.
I too thought that I would become, really. But then somehow, when I was in the 10th standard, one priest with this dress came for vocation promotion.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's Father Cassian Kachapalli OCD. Then we, as a young boy, I was really attracted by this dress, the way he was dressing and this hood and all. And also he came by Luna. No. So after the sessions, after this meeting, I went and told him that I want to become priest. Then he said, if you are interested, then okay, we will go. I will take you by this Luna. The first letter that I got in my name was from this father. I was really taken up. It was actually an invitation to join in the
Okay,
Carmel.
okay.
Letter that I got it in my life too.
Yeah.
So somehow that really inspired me and attracted me. Also, this sister, about whom I said, she also has sent me to vocation camp. Some touch was there with the Carmelites. So mainly because of this dress that I got inspired to
to-
become a Carmelite. And then when I said about this decision, actually including my father was not very happy
Acha.
to send me, because he was telling if you are joining in the Carmelite order, it will be very strict life and very austere life. You won't, because we are in an island there where we get lot of fishes and all. So father was telling you will not get fishes or meat or in the Carmelite seminary, whereas if you are joining in the diocesan means you will get good curry and all, you will get good food and all. Somehow God inspired me to say no to these kind of temptations. Really, father was tempting me in the name of this food. But at that time I did not know much about actually the Carmelite order. Only I knew about only this. I just saw the dress, but I was very, very strict to say, very strong enough to say that if at all I become a priest, I will become a Carmelite priest. I believe it as that was the plan of God. Otherwise, with these temptations, I would have also opted the otherwise.
You joined seminary after class 10th.
Yeah, in the year 1991 on June 16th. We were also praying, because in the camp itself we were more than 200.
Wow.
More than 200 boys were there for the camp, and from this 200 they selected only 21 for the priesthood, like for the seminary life. Thank God. Then we were also so much extremely happy and went to the parish priest to get the letter. But then in the beginning actually he was not willing to give, because he expected us to be in the diocesan seminary. But later he told only because because I too love Carmelites, he said.
Okay.
Because he was also a good follower, fan of Little Therese.
Okay.
Yeah, he was telling, I too love such a lot our Little Therese, Saint Teresa of Lisieux. And he was telling, since she is also a Carmelite, I give you permission to go in the Carmelite order. One more thing he said was, Carmel is actually rich with a lot of saints, like Saint Teresa of Avila. First time I came to know that this little flower is a Carmelite. Anyway, he gave a letter. And then the first year itself is actually for the Carmelites, for Manjumal province. I belong to the Manjumal province.
Okay.
That's also the mother province, the Carmelite Manjumal province. We started with the 21 boys.
Okay.
And last then it came to the ordination, we were only 6.
Wow, my God.
Yeah, but
From 200 to 6.
200 to 6.
Yeah.
Prayer and contemplation is the charism of the Carmelites. So I came to know more about the Carmelite order after 3 years.
Okay.
We come to the 13th year, we become priest. 2004, on January 3rd, I was ordained.
Wow.
We have also we have our friends, and this younger age we also do some mischiefs, So we at the same time I want to become a priest, but at the same time these kinds of temptations are there from all around. Even when we go out, people are there coming in search of us, looking. We also have that kind of inclination. Sometimes some crises also are there, and we have to do all the works by ourselves, washing the clothes, everything. We are not done it at home, And these also were very tough. We had to study such a lot of subjects, And not just like outside, we had to get out of 100, we had to get just pass mark was supposed to be 50.
Okay.
So not just 20. So this was also very, very tough for us. So a lot of crises also were there. In between, I do have thought of going back home.
Okay. Oh.
Many times I have called my father and said, I'm coming back. Then father said, no, this will be there, because that day you have said that there will be difficulties, and you knew there will be I actually asked you not to go, but you were telling you are ready to. That was really not just immediately, okay, come back. But that was, now when I think back, during the time of my formation, those words of my father who said, no, stay there. There will be difficulties, but a time will come, you will be able to enjoy these things, or you will be able to come out of these difficulties. So that has also helped me. And even to my spiritual father also, I have said many a times that I want to go back. But each time, whenever I had the crises, somebody was there actually. God has sent some angels to help me to come out of this crisis. Actually, when I look back now, we need these kinds of angels wherever we are. Even if I am a married person, there are also people now people come for counseling. We need an angel to tell them, don't worry, this is the life, and there will be difficulties and problems, but stay there, because that is the life God wants from you. So likewise, God has sent many angels for me too in my life. That's how I go through the formation time.
And then, Father, how was your experience after you joining and till now?
Means after 2004 I was ordained, and then I was waiting for the first appointment, because the first appointment was to Orissa.
Oh my God.
And I went over there, and now when I look back now, the real pastoral experience, we take 3 vows: poverty, obedience, and chastity. But in all its essence, in all its reality, the real poverty that I experienced was when I was in Orissa, because no electricity, no water. Even for bathing, we had to go to the public well.
Oh my God.
For taking to take bath, to drinking water, everything from the public well. We had to wait for the other people to take their water and everything like that. Also in a small room, 2 fathers were there, like that. We had to stay there in this winter and all. One of the most important thing that is there in my life, in my memory, is one day Bishop of Bhubaneswar asked me to give a holy mass for the Malayali community over there, and I obliged. I gave mass in the evening, and while I was coming back by my bike, I thought of putting petrol, and I just got into a petrol pump. And at that time, actually, some dacoits, they were looting the pump.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, then immediately, as soon as I stopped my vehicle, the person who was standing was actually not with that petrol pump. It was a gun actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah, then as soon as I stopped my vehicle, he came towards me, and then he threw away my helmet, and he started abusing me, and then pulled me from the bike, and without even listening to me, he started beating me. And he's also having a gun. Another one also I saw running towards me with a gun. And both of them started beating me from both the sides. And then I was thinking that why God this has happened to me, because I am coming after the mass. And after celebrating Holy Mass, I am getting this kind of I know why, what mistake I did, God, why? And I was just keeping on praying, Lord, save me from, if it is your will, you save me from this situation. And then I saw one boy coming with a big bamboo stick, and just he beat me on the head, and still I kept on praying. So I was also watching other people who were walking, must have been people who are walking in the pump. They are just on the floor with blood. They are 2-3 are just lying on the floor. I was also thinking my life is gone with that. But I kept on praying. I told Lord, I know that, but still you will not leave me. You will give me at least a chance. And meanwhile, I was also getting all these beatings from both the sides. Just after beating me, he just went other side, and he was just shouting something, I know. And near to me was another one glass box was there, and with this bamboo stick, now he came and bet on this glass box, and while these glasses were falling, I felt like all their attention also got changed towards that. Then I thought this may be a little chance God is giving me to save myself. Without any doubt, I just sat on my vehicle and I got escaped from the situation. So now when I look back, no, that was a chance for me to experience the pain and the sufferings of the people really who are working for the Lord, as well as to show that God is there with me. Even after that, no, I went to the police station. I went to the police station, and I had to wait in the police station till 1 o'clock. So this happened at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And till 1 o'clock I had to wait in the police station. The SI came and again he took me to the spot where I was beaten up. And there also I was asking why it is so. Why is they are not allowing me to go back to my home? Because I was deadly tired and paining everywhere and I just want to take rest. That was my only dream. When I went there, no, 4 or 5 people are there. They took me to the spot. Listening to the way of my talk, no, they understood that I am not from Orissa. And when one person from this pole asked me, "Are you from South?" I said, "Yes, I am from South." Then he said, "I know one person called Kurian." And I was really surprised because I went to celebrate Mass in his house only.
Oh,
Kurian.
okay.
In Kurian's house only. And he scrolled. By that time, this Dacoits, no, they had taken all my mobile, my golden ring, purse, watch, everything they had taken. Nothing is there with me. No money, nothing is there. But from his mobile, he scrolled and checked. And he said, "This Kurian's number is there."
Okay.
Immediately he called Kurian and they came from their home in Mineka and they took me to the hospital and all. See, even that, no, I was, when I think back, suppose I had gone at that early morning, 1 o'clock, 1:30 and all, no, even at that time, with all this tiredness, no, I don't think whether I would have reached. See, so when I think back, even that experience, no, again they are taking me to this place and there among these 4 people, one person is talking about a person whom I know and he is having his number of Kurian and his Kurian and these people are coming to help me. So these are the logic. You see, sometimes we find things which are not logical.
Yes.
This is actually not logical. Why again take me? So I was asking this logical question to God. Why this again happening to me? I was not finding any logic. But God is bringing His hand even things which are not logical. My dear friends, so my message and my wish and prayer for you is that today, actually on October 15th, is the feast day of Saint Teresa of Avila. So this is the image of Saint Teresa of Avila, the one, the saint who reformed the Carmelite order. And she says, "Let nothing disturb you, let nothing frighten you, for the one who has God, God alone suffices." So let this be the message. Let nothing frighten you. Let nothing disturb you. Whatever you see now, you are in this present time, this corona time, you feel like your dreams are shattered. But no, this is actually a stepping stone for all of us to do better. So let us not bury our life before our death. Let us discover and rediscover the potentialities, the talents, the capabilities that God has given to each and every one of us. See, God, even when a door is closed, you will find at least a window is open for you. See, that is the work of God. That is the hand of God that is going to happen in your life. So that's the message. That's what, so in my 17 years of my priesthood, this is what I have experienced in my life. We feel like the door is closed, but at the same time, a window is open for you, and find out that window from where you can give your maximum. So even through the ordinary things that you are doing, we can do extraordinary things only if we put love in it. So in whatever you are doing, wherever you are, bloom where you are planted. And I also welcome all the youth to be dedicated to the Lord, to the priesthood. I am welcoming you all, and this is a special call, my students, my dear friends. So let's enjoy especially this occasion to the priesthood and very especially to the religious life. So this is what my humble request to you. but at the same time, let's all depend on the grace of God and do everything for the glory of God. Thank you so much.